Coming up, Netflix dialing down its original content while Facebook makes a move into TV.
It's 60 minutes of financial planning. The WBBM Noon Business Hour continues.
Changes in programming are coming to Netflix while Facebook looks at starting to produce its own original content. To talk about it, we're joined by Tim Hanlon, founder and CEO of the media consultancy firm, the Vertere Group, here in Chicago. Tim, let's begin with Netflix. They've spent a lot of money on original content. Seems like there's an original show launched practically every day on Netflix. Is it time for that to slow down?
Well, hi, Cisco. I think the answer is nobody is immune to free spending and revenues keeping pace with such, right? So you basically have an entrant in Netflix in the television and movie space that has basically been a very free spender for high-quality programming, and the expenses that come with that seem to have been limitless. I think what you see, though, is a stock and a company that recognizes that there are only so many subscribers to be found out there, and that they can't afford, for example, shows like Sense8, which they just recently canceled, that cost upwards of $8-9 million an episode. I don't think there's any media company that can afford that kind of business logic.
One of the things they've done is essentially ordering a whole series before even trying a pilot to see if people will actually watch it. Is that one of the changes they're going to have to make to actually see if anyone wants to see the show before they produce it?
Well, Netflix is an interesting case, right? Because they famously guard the data about viewership for their programming, so much so that Hollywood studios and talent agents and the like don't have access to that data. They, however, internally do, and perhaps more so than any other media company out there. Netflix has a very good sense of who's watching, when they're watching, how often they're watching, or how not often that they're watching. The reality is that they can only afford, they have to basically go on a diet, shall we say, in terms of programming. There's only so many shows out there that they can justify cost-wise. And I think, frankly, $8 million an episode is just a little bit too much when you look at the revenues that they bring in. They have not been profitable. And that's a key point that I think they're starting to recognize as they mature as a company.
Meanwhile, we're hearing that Facebook is very interested in scripted TV programming and is going that way as well.
Now, isn't that ironic, Chris, right? You
Yes.
have Facebook as well as Apple. And as we saw last week at the VidCon conference last week, YouTube and Amazon certainly are no strangers to pursuing now original TV/video content. I think the interesting thing with Facebook is not only are they interested in what they're saying, at least what I've read, $2 to $3 million per episode of original content and programming, but Facebook has also said that they're interested in more modestly priced programming that might be of a shorter variety, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, that is specifically of interest to younger audiences, say ages 13 and up, where the content doesn't necessarily need to be episodic of 30 or 60 minutes in length like a traditional TV show.
Well, this is good news for people who like this kind of watching TV. They're going to have a lot of different choices.
Well, I think the television industry, the more classic television industry executives would call it sort of peak TV, or sort of the apex of television content. And there's plenty of great content out there. The problem is there's a whole lot of it that not everybody is getting to see, and business models are changing in the process. So for consumers, I think it's great. I think for the businesses behind them in television and video, it remains to be seen for sure.
Is it good for actors and all the people behind the scenes in these productions?
That's possible, but I will say that there is some growing discontent amongst the unions in Hollywood about the way that they're being compensated for all these programs. It's good news in that they're getting jobs and getting work. The bad news is they're not getting compensated like traditional television shows have historically compensated them. So a space to watch for sure, that labor strike.
Thanks for joining us today. Tim Hanlon is founder and CEO of the media consultancy firm, the Vertere Group, here in Chicago. Join us at this time tomorrow for Travel Tuesday.